Welcome to the Science of Mind. Welcome to CTCSL. Welcome to the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought, the conception that we live in a spiritual universe, that God is in us, around us, and for us, and there is nothing against us. So today we are going to wrap up January series, which was about spirit. And now we are going to talk about our essential self. This person that you are is an individuation of the great creator. The same power that created you continues to live in you. We're looking at the final truth, back of all manifest life. The absolute or causeless cause, the one with a big O, the unconditioned, the changelessness, the indefinable, the invisible something, complete, self-existent perfection. That's what we're talking about. That's the wrap-up, part of the wrap-up for the Sundays in January. That which exists nowhere but exists everywhere simultaneously in the same amount. Can you imagine that? God doesn't have to split itself up into pieces to be universal at the same time. It's totally complete in itself everywhere at the same time. That which exists, as I said, nowhere but exists everywhere simultaneously. It is out of this one incredible something that you and I and all manifest life now appear on planet Earth. Even the physical universe is considered its body. Can you imagine having a body like the universe? You can't imagine that because our brains just can't absorb that much. But the universe is the body of God, the manifestation of God, established within itself, the self-organizing system that brings order to universal systems. This is a wonderful thing we're talking about here. How do we describe what we call God? And we human beings have an inheritance of inexhaustibility. That's true. Intangible quality and abilities, all within the essential self that is you. Perfection, limitlessness, abundance, self-expression, and happiness. I say, give God a good time by being happy. When you're happy, God is more pleased. The very nature of that oneness is our nature. It could come from no other way, from no other form. There is only one great creator in the universe, the great macrocosm of which you and I are microcosms. The nature of God is wholeness. The nature of wholeness is happiness. The nature of happiness is peace. The nature of peace is harmony. The nature of harmony is joy. Can you imagine being like that? You are like that in microcosm. It is the realization or the lack of the realization of that that causes us to feel unhappy sometimes, and lost sometimes, and sometimes neglected, and sometimes rejected, and sometimes not cared for. Or we invented all of those feelings. And you know what? There's always that place we could come back to, right at the center of the heart of God. So whichever way we turn the proposition, we are compelled to see and understand that the nature of reality, the nature of God is perfection. Perfection. And that is your essence. This is essentially transcendent of the physical, but able to be called into manifestation when and wherever we choose. We can call it into being. That's the power we have. That's why In the Bible, it says, God says, go out and create and multiply. Go out. The question is, will we? I'm asking you, will you? People ask me what the will of God is, and I mentioned this before. The will of God, the answer can only be God must be toward wholeness and toward peace, toward poise, toward power, toward self-expression, and toward joy. That's the will of God. Do you fit? Of course you fit. It doesn't matter what you try. You fit into that. What if you knew and really believed it? What would your life be like if you really believed that and walk as if that is your truth? Do you know what kind of world we would have? Do you realize how wonderful, how much more wonderful experience you could be having on planet Earth if everybody thought like that? That's why I like Science of Mind, because it is universal. The truth is universal. It operates out of principles. Principles are universal powers that follow the pattern of thought, that follow the orders that we give it. Dr. Holmes says, if we enjoy life, listen to this. Holmes says, if we enjoy life, God is that much more expressed. You want to express your divinity. You want to express your holiness. You want to express what you believe about your connection to God and what you think the world really is. That makes God much more expressed. Just doing that. The world is to that extent a happier place in which to live. We have the formula. Why aren't enough people reaching that? Getting there. There can be no creation separate from the Creator. The thing, you know how many people are taught that they're separated from God? That is such a false teaching that it has millions of people in a self-made prison. There can be no creation separate from the Creator and no person separate from their Creator. You're never separate. You could believe that, and it's always done unto you as you believe. Why? Because your belief sets the tone of what your life is going to be like. Your belief sets the energy, the energetic field around you that causes you to have a certain experience. Plotinus says this: everything is as real as it is supposed to be. He affirms that things in and of themselves are indeterminate, which means that the Creator is not subject to the creation. But creation is a manifestation of the Creator. The created is subject to the Creator, not the reverse. What does that mean for you and for me? It means that if that which is created is in my life rather, is subjected to me, then I can do something to create a different creation. Isn't that logical? I'll say that again. What that means for you and for me is, it means that if that which is created in my life is subject to me, then I can do something to create a different creation in my life. If I really knew my essential self, if you really knew how true all of this is about you and could get in touch with that truth with a big T, then every setback is just temporary. Do you know that? Every setback is just temporary. This too shall pass. Every setback is an opportunity to gain greater insight, greater power, greater wisdom, and greater initiation to respond. I do not react to situation. I respond to the temporary nature which resolves to infuse it with my truth. I respond to the temporary nature with resolve to infuse it with my truth. So anything that seems out of joint in your life, infuse it with the truth of who you are. Declare in the face of it that you are a divine being created in the image and likeness of God, and that likeness defies anything contrary to its nature. Confront it. Don't give in, but don't be violent. Be vigilant. The book, The Metaphysical Foundation of Modern Science, says this: without the oneness or wholeness assumption, one does not find volition, other states of consciousness, theological influences, synchronicity, and so forth. That's a good book to have. It's called The Metaphysical Foundation of Modern Science. Well, if those exist in me, if all of that power exists in me, ipso facto, they exist in the universe. They're only waiting there to be explored. Can you believe it? Can you really believe this about you? If you do, your life is on the road to fantastic changes. Brian Goodwin, professor of biology in England, says this: he urges us to return to the vision of the Renaissance Magi, in which subject and object, known and unknown, can relate and participate in an appropriate unity made possible by the fact that reality is a single coordinate domain. Now that's kind of scientific language, but if you take that and analyze it, you'll realize how much power you have to create the life that brings you joy, peace, happiness, and makes God dance with happiness. If God can be tickled, that's what you do, tickle God, so God can laugh and be happy that you are there representing its presence. Dr. Holmes says this, I quote, "The potential of all things exists in the universal wholeness." The potential of all things exists in the universal wholeness. So if you think of the universe as lacking something, you are not going to be able to explore all the possibilities. But if you live in the potential that the universe has all possibility, far beyond your ability to imagine, then you can find wholeness right where you are. He was not far off in Never Never Land when he said that. The potential of all things exists in the universal wholeness, Dr. Holmes. Now the Bible says, all things work together for good to them that love what? God. All things, no exception. It didn't say all things but, or all things and perhaps. No, it says all things, period, work together for good to them that love God. You know what? Irritation, frustration, resentment, agitation, and all those things get wiped away in the presence of wholeness. Think about how much power you have to manage your life and make it one of peace and harmony and oneness. And that gives God a good time. That's what gives God a good time. Jesus, in his most heartfelt prayer, if you read the Bible and you remember something about Jesus, Jesus, in his most heartfelt prayer, said this, quote, that they may be one, even as we are one. And he was talking to God, his Father. That's the way it's listed in the Bible. I say to you, let us all wake up to the truth of our own essence. Let us wake up to our essential self. That's why I invite you to take time to muse, take time to reflect, take time to be silent, take time to be in awe, take time to contemplate, take time to meditate, take time to be alone, take time to be quiet, take time to hear the silence, and take time to know yourself. Those are my 10 take times. I jokingly say it's my 10 commandments. I cannot command you to take time for those, but I invite you to try it out. Try it out for 7 days consistently. If you break it, you start over the seven days. Do it 7 days consistently without a break. If you break at the 6th day, start over the 7 days again. Because when you do 7 consistent days, you have finally grooved a space in your brain, in your mind, for a habit. It takes 30 days to break a habit. But you can make this work in 7 solid days of practice. And it's locked in. And I wish you all the best. And I love you. And I thank you for listening. Namaste. Namaste. Close your eyes. This is an opportunity to bring into your life your desire, the desire of your heart. And remember, the essence of harmony is oneness. So we cannot have a desire that causes someone else to be less than in any shape or form. So our desire, in order to stay in harmony with the oneness, has to have that characteristic about it. It is all inclusive. So it is harmonious to life. So I will do the treatment now, and you can have the opportunity in the realization step to silently declare for yourself what it is that you want this treatment to work on for you. So close your eyes, and I begin. I know that there is only one life, and that life is God. God is the creator and sustainer of all life, creator and sustainer of the universe. The universe is the body of God. God is the life of all life, the being of all beings, the one of all ones. And I am one of the one. I am made in the image and likeness of God. And I know this is true about every single person. Those who are listening now, and those who are not listening, and those who don't even know that we individually exist. God is still the life of all life. There is no life without God. In knowing that truth, that life has inherent in it all the qualities of the one giver and sustainer. So we have the power of imagination, the power to create through our minds, the power to bring forth through our spoken word, the power to give breath and bring to life conditions, situations, and circumstances into our lives. I am so grateful for this power. So now I open it in a moment of silence during this prayer for each person who is listening to declare into their life the good that they desire. Begin now. So let us give thanks. Let us give thanks. Let us open our hearts with gratitude and thanksgiving for the power of our spoken word to take form, to come into life, to come into my life. Let us give thanks that we have this form of prayer that allows us as a group to speak our word into the powerful strain of this religious science, life formula, prayer formula, power formula. I am grateful for each person present, for each person as they participate to improve and bring forth goodness in their own life. I'm thankful for that. Thankful for the power of the spoken word that becomes flesh and dwells with us. Thankful for our gathering today. So I release this word, these words, this prayer into the activity and the power and the creation of the universal law. I turn it over completely to the law, knows how to bring it forth into our lives in an optimum state. I release it, knowing it is already done in the mind of God. Please join me and let's say together, and so it is. Amen. That's just a wonderful way to pray, I tell you. I'm so glad I found Science of Mind, because that form of prayer is the way to bring into your life the desires of your heart. Whether it's for you or on behalf of someone that you love, you have concern about, that you pray about, it's power. It's done unto you as you believe. The operative word, as, means that it's happening all the time. All the time. Thank you all.